Good morning, ladies and gents. Good morning. Good morning. It is Saturday morning, and we are going to get, or I should say, we are going to jump right into episode 2 of the Beantown Breakdown. So today we are going to start with the Red Sox. To start their week off, they finished off their series with the Royals, and then they started a three game series against the Tampa Bay Rays, and to me, this series was pretty much a microcosm of the season. They lose two out of three. Um, they lose two out of three games to the Tampa Bay Rays, and it showcased exactly how far ahead of the Sox the Rays are. But the other thing that it showcased is the lack of ability of the Red Sox to close out a game, which comes down to pitching basically. If you look at each game and go through the box scores and um you or if you watch those games, you would see that the Sox got down big in all three of those games. 3 runs or more. They were down, and they somehow managed to fight their way back into it. The hitting, came on during those games, and it would they managed to get it within a run or even tie it up in all three of those games. And the pitching again fell out from underneath them, and it was, in my opinion, the main reason why they lost all two of or excuse me, why they lost 2 out of 3 of those games. And it just it really did give us a preview and a showcase of how far ahead some of these teams are, not only in our division but in the entire American League. It's how the mighty have fallen, guys. The Sox went from a 2018 World Series to this in the what we've been watching these last 2 years. They have fallen from grace big time. It's depressing to watch. I love the Red Sox, and it's when they get to a point where they're just hard to watch. It's hard to sit down and watch their games, whether be it live or watching them on TV. Either way, it's a tough product to watch. And the fact that John Henry and Heim Bloom aren't paying it any mind, and to them, in their eyes, this um uh it's okay to them for what they're the product that they're putting on the field, according to John Henry and Heim Bloom and Larry Lucchino and the front office of this team. It's okay, because if it wasn't, they'd be doing something about it. So it, it that's the other message that this season has sent, is that they, with where they're sitting right now and where the team is, and all of the all of the how do I put it, all of the stuff that's going on, not only on the field but off the field, the locker room stuff that's going on with Alex Verdugo, the uh Alex the a lot of the Alex Cora interviews, that where he basically is throwing shots at the team. He's been doing that for about a month now, and it's not at his players. He's not taking shots at his players. The shots are directed uh, up at up or excuse me, the shots are directed towards upper management. There's clearly a disconnect there, and it's that is getting worse and worse. It seems like by the week. I don't think Cora is very happy with Heim Bloom, judging from some of the comments that he's made this past month. He I think it's ultimately gonna end in somebody leaving. which one that is, you guys tell me your opinion. Personally, I don't see John Henry firing Heim Bloom, unless this team is historically bad. I don't see um, Heim Bloom being fired by John Henry. It, I think the exact opposite. I think Henry, at the beginning of when John Henry brought Heim Bloom on, I think he was given an order, so to speak, to um, manage the team in a way where it would uh, put butts in the seats, but save as much money as economically possible. And I think he's when it comes to putting butts in seats, I think he's done a pretty good job. The 4 games that I've been to this year, the stadium's been filled. The stadium's been filled, and the product on the field has been terrible. So he's clearly doing, Heim Bloom is clearly doing whatever John Henry asked him to do. He's doing his job. Do I think both Henry and Cora should go? I think so. I think they both got to go. I think it's more Heim Bloom's fault than it is Alex Cora's. Cora is just trying to do the best he can with what he has, and he doesn't have much, to be honest. Cora is doing the best he can with what he has, and he's pretty much basically just come out and said that to to uh to the media, to basically anybody who will listen. He's he's said a few times now, I'm doing the best. I'm kind of reading between the lines when some of his comments, but they're basically saying I'm doing the best I can with what I have. You got to talk to Heim if you don't like what I have to work with, because he's the one that puts this team together. But the Red Sox, once again, guys, they start off the week with finishing up their Kansas City Royals series, and then they jump into that 3-game set with the Rays. They lose 2 out of 3 to Tampa Bay, and like I said, that series was a perfect. That series was a perfect representation of what this whole entire season has been. They also, when Tyler Glasnow pitched for the Rays, that you actually got to see what a pitcher with actual talent looks like. The Red Sox were struck out 14 times by him. So there's that you have to take into consideration. The Rays just showcased that they were a better team. They were the better team. Tampa was the better team on the field. They were better constructed to win those close games, and their pitching didn't fall out from underneath them. Fairbanks came in and did his job at the end of those games and shut the door on the Sox hitters, and it was a showcase on how far the Red Sox have fallen and how much work they need to do to get back there. But let's move on to actually one more thing before we move on. The Sox are still trying to chase down the Blue Jays for that final wild card spot, and just judging from how many games are left and the schedule that they have uh, the Yankees coming up. Then they have the Yankees coming up, the White Sox, excuse me, the Blue Jays, and then I believe the Rays again. And it's I just unless they win every series going forward, I can't see them physically getting in. I know I said this last week, but I can't see them physically. I don't think they have enough games to get them in. They would have to go on such a ridiculous winning streak that I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. They also have the Rays, so they have the Rays and the Blue Jays uh, coming up as well to kind of finish off their season, and they also have, I believe, two or three more against the Orioles, which they that's another thing we should talk about too. Let's hit on that. Um, let's hit on that real quick before we move on. The Red Sox last night got absolutely taken apart by the Baltimore Orioles, and I can't believe I'm going to say that because the Orioles are the Orioles. Like every Red Sox fan, when you talk about the Baltimore Orioles, you don't talk about we've very seldom of us have been around to where the Orioles were actually good. Well, now they're good again, and they're getting better every year. Slowly but surely, that team is getting better. And they that game last night was not a good look for them for the Red Sox. It was a great look for the Baltimore Orioles, but the Sox get taken apart 11-2, and they get two hit last night by the Orioles. Give it another year, and the Orioles will consistently overtake this team. And I'm talking overtake the Red Sox. The Blue Jays are already there, even though they have been in their slump. The Yankees are the only team that's worse than the Sox, worse constructed than the Sox. They're the Red Sox are in trouble if they don't get this together and make some serious changes in the offseason. They're going to be in trouble. This team is this. You think the product's bad now and difficult now to watch? It's only going to get worse if they don't make changes. But like I said previously, I think the only way that happens is that this team has to be historically bad. So John Henry and Heimblum cannot physically ignore it or make excuses for whatever they want to make to how the team is built. They physically can't ignore. They're going to have to be so bad that they physically can't ignore it. And the Red Sox haven't been that bad in a long, long time. So I can't see that happening. Unfortunately, Red Sox fans, I think we're just going to have to deal with a middling team. They're going to hover around 500, and every so often maybe they sneak in as a wild card, maybe they don't. But that from until wholesale changes are made, upper management changes and big changes on the team are made, I think this is what we are seeing this year is pretty much what we're going to get until change is made. And it's unfortunate too, because the fans deserve better. We deserve better. As Red Sox fans, we deserve for them to put a better product on the field. It's depressing. They're hard to watch, and I hate saying it because I love the Sox, but that product on the field is just hard to watch, and they're the team. There's no like what name me a couple of players that relate to the fans like Pedroia and Ortiz did. They simply don't have those guys. They don't have those guys. You could make an argument for Verdugo. Alex Verdugo does. I know he really does, enjoy the fans and enjoy the interactions that he has with them. But he's not David Ortiz. He's not, Dustin Pedroia when it comes to, the Sox having that guy that the fans can just rally behind and pull behind and trust in, that he's, when times get hard, he'll put the team on his back and carry them. They don't have those type of guys anymore, and it's showed for years. They just don't have them, and I don't know how they're going to get them, but they need one or two in a bad way right now. But that's it for the Sox. Let's jump into the Pats, the Patriots. Their home opener coming up this Sunday. They will face the Eagles. Right off the bat, an incredibly tough test. Now I know this Eagles team lost a lot of. They did lose a lot of talent on the back end of that defense to, I believe, free agency. They had a couple of those guys on the back end of that defense leave. But to make up for that, they have built a very, very good front seven. So this is going to be a nice little measuring stick game for them. This is going to be a nice little measuring stick game for the Patriots. I'm not going to be upset if they lose this game by a touchdown or less. I'm not going to be upset. If they lose and I see them fight and scratch and claw and go point for point with the Eagles till the end, I'll be happy. But if they roll over and keel over and die and this score is 34-10, that's not good. That's not a good way to start the season. That's not a good way to jump into their 2023 campaign by getting blown out at home. And especially if Mac Jones doesn't look good. But we're going to get into all of we're going to be quick here on the Patriots because we have I have a week one preview stream coming up on my channel, the Beantown Breakdown home channel, with Key in the building and Cool McCain, two Eagle fans that we will welcome to the channel and chop it up a little bit between the Eagles and the Pats. But we're looking forward to that. But basically, let's just hit on some basic stuff here. The Patriots uh, the Patriots reached a settlement with Connor McDermott, and they let him go. He had it was an and I air quote this, an undisclosed injury, and they put him on IR. So something bad happened, and they don't want to release what it is. So that's not a good sign. But they reached a settlement with him. Basically means they paid him out and they released him. So McDermott, another piece on that offensive line that could be a massive problem for the Pats this year, was released, and now they got to find a replacement for him. It's the offensive line for the Pats could be a jumbled mess this year, and it's not going to bode well for them. But that's the big news coming out of Pats camp before the game. Also, let's hit on one other thing. Uh, the Eagles are going into this game 100% healthy. Nobody on the injury report. They have a couple of guys on IR or IL, but there is no one on the injury report. They're walking into this game with their 53-man roster 100% healthy, which that scares the hell out of me. Nobody hurt, everybody injured, nobody hurt, nobody injured, everyone ready to go. They're ready to roll. They want to come in. They want to come into Foxborough and absolutely make a point. And they're going to look to make an example out of the Patriots, and that scares me because that team had 70 sacks last year. 70. And with the offensive line being the way it is with the Patriots, I don't know. That's that's not good. If the Patriots don't protect Mac, this could get ugly real quick. But that's a quick little thing for the Pats. That's about it. That's all I got for them. The Celtics, let's kind of touch on them real quick. And then I think that's going to do it for this episode of the Beantown Breakdown. But Kristaps Porzingis back and working out, so that's a good sign with him. Trying to work through that. I believe it was plantar fasciitis diagnosis. Hopefully that's getting better. But it was good to see him actually play some basketball. So hopefully we get him ready to go for the season, and he's 100% healthy, because I do think he can make a difference on the Celtics and actually add something to that team. The Bruins, one little note for them, they signed Danton Heinen back. So we have We have Heinen back. Last year, he didn't no, he excuse me, guys. He actually had a halfway mumbling my words here. He had a halfway decent year last year, and I do think he can be a contributor to the Bruins. But that's really the only note for the Bruins is that they have signed Danton Heinen back, and they will probably look to plug him into the lineup as soon as possible. There's a lot of question marks for the Bruins too. They're losing Krejci and Bergeron is a huge blow. Those are two very big shoes that they have to fill, and their season's definitely going to be interesting to watch and see, because the only one left over from that kind of era of the Bruins team is Marchand, and let's see how much he has left in the tank, because I don't think he's longer to hang on than Bergeron too. So he's once he goes, it will truly be the end of an era. But that's everything I got for you guys today on the Beantown Breakdown. Once again, guys, I hope everybody is enjoying their morning, and I will be over on my home channel, Beantown Breakdown, for the Week 1 preview with Key in the building and Cool McCain at 10 a.m. So in about an hour. But thanks again, guys. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. And we are gone. Everybody have a good Saturday, and we will talk to you next week for episode 3 of the Beantown Breakdown. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. We're out of here.